Hi, I'm Tyra Elton. I am the Vice President of Huenited Collective, and I am a Senior Shopper Strategist. I would say Huenited is really just born out of trying to make sure that people of color, specifically Black and Brown folks, have access and resources and the support to bridge into opportunities in the agency space that they may have not known about or not been aware of or didn't study. A lot of times in this industry, people come from all different walks of life, which I think is really interesting, but something that Huenited is trying to do is expand that, because they, say creativity and culture is just as good as the people who are in the room. So we're trying to get, people who look like us in more rooms to have those conversations and impact the brands that we work on for our clients' businesses. But, the more diverse that the work is, the better it is targeted to the consumers. And that also includes people who are diverse actually working on those brands. I feel like time and effort and action. And so obviously we are all gathered in a space to have those conversations, which is good, but also taking the actionable next steps to try to implement them. So that looks like convening different agencies together, especially the people at the top who are making those decisions. And who can say, yes, I need this, or yes, they're having those conversations with the clients that they want to take on, and hearing firsthand that, they might not be in the day-to-day of the work, but they hear from a client that we're seeking this, so they can make those decisions at the top level and trickle them down. So that was time. That takes time to do. I think effort, and then action was the third one I mentioned. If things were as well as we wanted them to be, Huenited wouldn't exist, but we do exist. And so I have historically been usually the only one in room. So whether that's the only strategist or the only woman or the only Black woman. And so I feel like if I can make a difference by adding one more to that, so there's two of us, that looks like success to me. So again, all of us have full-time jobs. This is something we're all passionate about, but I think it's going to take more effort and time and just resources, unfortunately. Not to get political or anything, but every day we hear about something new happening or something getting rolled back. So I think it's timely, but it also sets us back a little bit. I would say, so I joined Huenited through my last employer, which I'm not currently with, but I would say having these conversations and then also having access to maybe higher level people in a way that I wouldn't have before gave me kind of the confidence and reassurance to make that decision that it was time for me to move on to something better for me, something that would be more career advancing, and also have the support. And Huenited was so supportive. And again, I joined through my last employer. So the value prop of that, because they were a part of Huenited, was you could spend your day-to-day working on these things, which I think in a corporate setting is really powerful, because it's we're not saving lives or saving the world or anything, but I could do this one thing a week or one thing every few days to help make a difference. So all that to say is I think that helped give me the confidence to stand up for myself, and then also know hey, I have the support of, the other Huenited Collective, and wherever I land, I still very much wanted to be a part of Huenited, and didn't want to let the progress that we made stop me, even though I'm not at that company anymore. And the same thing with other people on the board who have started with Huenited through a company that they were, either working at or introduced to, and now they've, gone on to other chapters. I think it's just kind of a testament to the work we're doing, and it's still important to us. So we still find what little time we have to come to meetings, come to board meetings, and then meet weekly and do all of the things that we need to do. I think on the more informal spectrum of things is you network. I personally hate kind of networking, and that's bad to say, but I feel like it feels inorganic and it feels forced. And just thinking about the people that we've come in contact with Huenited, of the different disciplines, different departments, different companies that specialize in different things. Like you're building your network, whether you know it or not, around a cause that, is shared. So that would be one thing. I think another thing is just access. So kind of a little bit different than building the network, but just thinking about the access you have to people who are pretty high up in companies, and even necessarily like if you lose your job or you come into a predicament to where you have to change jobs, like they might not be the people that you go to, but you might have a conversation and then they might be like, oh, I know someone who is looking for exactly what you're looking for. And so even if it's not that person, it like you just connect the dots to other people within their network and everything like that. So it all kind of bridges together. And I would say the last thing is just people, interacting with people who are passionate about the same thing is just kind of really powerful. Like I mentioned, it's none of our full-time jobs. I think it could be a full-time job in and of itself. But I think just, taking, an hour of your day on a Monday or, once a week to talk about something that's impacting the other younger generations that come after us is just kind of super powerful. On one hand, we're talking to students, people who maybe didn't think this was a career option for it to be a career option. And then also people who are locally here in Cincinnati to, they might be going to school here, but to stay after graduation to work at these companies. And yes, like, not going to lie to you, you might be the only one in the room, but then you might be more than one in another space. So that's just kind of super powerful. And that is the community that we want to build. We want these people to say, oh, I see myself working in advertising. I'm going to go be, it doesn't necessarily have to be a creative person. I think when people hear creative, they think like, oh, like a designer or photographer or something like that. I consider myself a creative, and I don't do that in my full-time capacity, but in my like spare time, I'm a florist. Like I craft. So like we're all creative in our own ways, but full-time, I just have flourished in that strategy role. But we need more strategists who are Black. We need more account people who are Black. We need more, everyone calls it something different, project leader, project manager, but we need more Black people in those roles, in those companies. So that's kind of the first part. And then I think the second part is the creative community, people like you or people who are really skilled in photography and really skilled in directing. And there might be like not a passion to work full time for someone else. And I totally get the entrepreneurship angle, but also like at least having that access and connection that I was talking about a little bit earlier to be in those rooms and say like, I would love to help you out on this job that is targeted to, most likely Black people as the consumers, but just to have someone Black behind the scenes, working on that in some of those other areas that traditionally is given to other races is also powerful. So complicated answer, but kind of those twofold audiences. Although I think we would love to have more of the first one. I think recognizing and trying to like nurture and curate that second community is just as important.